So in the market, basically, look at different jurisdictions in Asia, basically two approaches. One is more like a regulation top-down approach, just like China. The other is like a Hong Kong, Singapore, they're part of international market. So basically they use the market-driven standards, i.e. the ICMA principles. So it still works well, even with such different approaches, they ultimately will reach the same goal. In transition finance, over the last few years, different jurisdictions obviously also developing their own roadmaps and how they achieve such carbon neutral targets in the coming years. Even we have maybe like 20, 30, 40 years. But if you look at different sectors and the high demand of those capitals, particularly from the private sector, to finance those projects or those financing need, actually, the time is not that rich, and you need to action now. We have seen different sort of like like masses to achieve such things. Some are highly consistent with ICMA's approach, such as like Japan. They use our climate finance, transition finance handbook as a base and develop certain details for certain sectors. So basically, that's quite close to the international mainstream expectation. Some develop different roadmaps, like how to achieve such, again, carbon neutrality goals. They create different things, for example, like taxonomies, transition taxonomies, obviously. Others will be more like a traffic lights, like Singapore, for example. You, particularly within ASEAN, you see between the green and the red, you have such amble, right? This means that it's not that harmful to the environment, but also it's not clean. So when you have such amble labored, there are certain things you need to do. For the time being, you are still allowed to do those sort of like activities, but you need to really have such a strategy to phase out, again, essentially these fossil fuels and greenhouse emission, the current emission you have. So you should have the plan, right? I think these are also quite encouraging because that's still, like from the principle level, that's consistent with the international expectation. Then down to the project-based, such as like a transition bonds, at least, the buy side will expect more for the issues to deliver. Not just, I have certain projects in the between. Then you just stop there. Again, you should communicate it with your strategy and your plan about how you ultimately phase out all those things. So investors will have such confidence to put their money into your bond insurance. So that's quite important. And I think that's for all the issues to consider. But obviously, sector by sector, they can be very, very different. So that will rely on further guidance from the government and also how such plan to basically do this transition. And just more importantly, such transition pathway should be science-based.